Hey guys, welcome back to the FlyinGato channel. My name is Elias. If you are new here and like car content, hit that button below to subscribe. So today we're going to be talking about truck news. That's because at the North American International Auto Show, otherwise known as the Detroit Auto Show, there's so much going on with the truck world. We got the Ranger, Silverado, Ford F-150 diesel, so many things to cover from the truck world. And since I'm taking the first baby steps in buying my first ever truck, I figure we should start covering the truck news. Now, many of you guys have been watching for a long time. I do a lot of car stuff, track days, etc. But now, since I'm also going to be buying a truck, I'm also going to be doing truck stuff. So I'm doing a lot of research, a lot of things to know about trucks, you know, diesel versus gas, half-ton versus three-quarter ton versus, you know, mid-sized trucks, Tacoma, Tundra, Colorado, ZR2, so many things to talk about, right? So that's gonna be quite the journey. So if you're joining right now with the truck stuff, you're joining up early and you're gonna see the whole process of me researching, test driving, and then eventually buying my truck and using it as a truck is meant to be, towing and off-road. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started, take a little ride and in my Type R, and talk about trucks. Here we go guys, so we're going to talk about the Ford Ranger now that a lot of news is out for it. It's exciting to see that the Ford Ranger is finally back on US shores. The last time the Ford Ranger was sold in the United States was 2011. That's crazy. So it's been around 7 years since we last saw a Ford Ranger in the US, you know, and a lot of people would say that that's basically a Goldilocks kind of truck. You know, it's perfect. It could haul enough, it's small enough, it was fuel efficient enough, it drove enough like a car, it was comfortable, and it was cheap. You could actually use it as it's meant to be, as a work truck, and people love that thing. Unfortunately, the reason Ford stopped selling it is twofold. First, it really wasn't selling that well. The Ford F-150 outsold it like crazy, and people really were not interested anymore, so they stopped selling it for that reason. Second reason was that the profit margin just wasn't there. So, you know, again, with the Ford F-150 being sold, it's a larger truck, you can charge more for it, and it doesn't necessarily mean it costs that much more to build. So Ford gained a lot more money by selling the F-150 than the Ranger. So those people that were looking for the Ford Ranger instead now can only buy the Ford F-150, and most of them did so and bought the F-150 instead of the Ranger, bringing more money, more profit to Ford. Now, with that said, I'm glad that they finally brought it back, and here's a couple of specs, a couple of points I want to talk about. The main thing is that the engine for it is going to be the 2.3 liter turbo from the Mustang, and also found in the Ford Focus RS in slightly different form. Now, when you think about it, it makes sense because the last Ford Ranger had a 2.3 liter four-cylinder as its base engine. Now that wasn't turbocharged, so that didn't really make much power. This one is, and with an engine already so capable, they're going to be putting it in the Ford Ranger. Now the only thing I don't like is that they're not really offering much else in terms of engine choices. You're going to be 2.3 liter turbo or bust. That's it. And the only transmission choice is a 10-speed automatic. At least in the beginning of the production run, we're not sure what is going to happen. Now the truck, the Ford Ranger, has been out in Europe and Australia. I've seen it before when I went to Australia, and it looked like a pretty decent truck. A lot of people liked it for the most part. So I'm excited to see what small little changes they made. You know, exterior wise, it looks a little bit different, but not by much. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the Ford Ranger has to offer. I'm definitely going to be test driving it as soon as I see it in a Ford dealership. Definitely want to take a look at it. It may be the right truck for me. Who knows? I wish it came as a diesel, like the Colorado has, that small Duramax, the Baby Max, as people are calling it. But again, we shall see what happens. Now, the next bit of news to talk about is the new Silverado. That's huge. When a mid-size or when a full-size truck like the Silverado or F-150 get redesigned, that's a big deal in the truck world. And for 2019, there is a big redesign for the Chevy Silverado. Now, a lot of people have been pointing it out, and it's true, a lot of the hard points in the new Silverado are basically the same, so it's almost like a very big refresh of the Silverado. But I'm glad they're doing it anyway. They've revamped the styling, they have a lot of different features, and the biggest news for me is that there's a trail boss coming. So you know how much I like the Chevy Colorado ZR2, because I do plan on doing some off-roading with the truck that I'm gonna get. But if I can get a bigger truck with an inline 6 diesel, that's also going to be on offer with the new Silverados, another big piece of news. And it'll have a Trail Boss package, which basically means it's an off-road package. It'll be a big truck with a nice inline 6 diesel engine, which is my favorite type of diesel engine. The 335D I own has an inline 6 diesel. The best Cummins, in my opinion, the 5.9 liter Cummins diesel, is also an inline 6 diesel engine. So, you know, it's the best packaging, in my opinion. It's a very smooth diesel engine, and I'm looking forward to what they come out with. I want to drive this new Silverado diesel. I'm going to have to hold off on buying a truck until I do, and they say that basically, you know, mid this year, mid 2018, we should be seeing those trucks on the dealer lots. And you know me, I'm definitely going to be all over it. I'm going to be driving one, and I'll be putting a video on it as soon as possible. But like I said, I'm really interested in that Trail Boss model with that blacked out grille in the front. Maybe I'll get it in red. You know, I wasn't sure if I was going to get a red truck, but if I can get that Trail Boss with that nice inline 6 diesel engine in red, I would love it. What do you guys think about that? Now, we can't talk about the new Silverado without, of course, talking about the new Dodge Ram that's been also redesigned for 2018. Now, that redesign brings 200 pounds lighter, which is really cool that they're bringing out these trucks that are lighter weight. Like I said, weight is the enemy of gas mileage and handling, so the fact that they're trimming down a little bit in weight is very good. The big gamble that Dodge Ram is taking on these trucks is that they're introducing a semi-hybrid system.
To the addition of our innovative e-torque mild hybrid technology, both have improved fuel economy. Now, this e-torque system captures energy during braking and repurposes it during acceleration. The e-torque's powerful electric motor provides the equivalent of 90 foot-pounds of initial boost for the V6 Pentastar and 130 foot-pounds on the Hemi. Now, we don't have official EPA numbers yet, but we're looking at least 10% improvement to miles per gallon ratings.
So the other thing that's new for the Dodge Ram is, of course, that design. Now, a lot of people are not going to be a big fan of the new design. I actually like the new design. I've actually never been a big fan of the old crosshair design. I like what they did with the new grille. It looks really good, in my opinion. Just one of those things, you know, it's a matter of taste, really. You know, I drive around in a Civic Type R. People tend to either hate or love the way it looks, but I like the way it looks. I think it's bold. In the same way, I do like the way the new Dodge Ram is looking. You know, I feel like they kind of took it back a notch, and you know, it was kind of overly aggressive in the previous generation, especially with that big chrome grille, something that I wasn't a big fan of. Now, in the same regards, the Ford F-150, of course, we can't forget about that. You know, they did a redesign last year, so on that front, it's not much news, but they are going to be offering a new 3-liter turbocharged diesel engine, and that's actually really big in the truck world. That means that everybody's offering up a new diesel engine in their half-ton trucks. That's pretty big for all of our people that are interested in actually using their trucks every day like I want to do. So I'm definitely taking a look at that. You know, it's something that people are really excited about, including me. And it's going to be interesting to see what the specs are going to be. They're actually targeting 30 miles to the gallon, which is huge for a truck. If a truck can get 30 miles to the gallon, I mean, I would see a lot of people probably trying to get a pickup truck than an SUV, because why bother, right? Unless you need a third row seating or something. I would get an SUV, I would get a pickup truck with 30 miles to the gallon over an SUV any day. Now, the big news out of all of these things that are happening is that both the FCA, so basically Ram, Chevy, and Ford are investing millions and millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars, into American manufacturing. Now, that may not seem like a big deal to you guys that are not affected really by the manufacturing world, but it's huge in terms of the American economy. All of these trucks are being built internationally. Are now, a lot of the manufacturing is being brought back to the U.S., and that's a really big thing for all of us here in America. You know, if one sector of the economy grows or shrinks, it will affect the rest of the United States. And since we all live here in the United States, we are really happy that it's happening. Now, the other thing that we're going to be looking at, of course, is quality. I'm sure the trucks built in Mexico are pretty much high quality, but I feel like the trucks that are built in the U.S. probably built a little bit better. Now, I could be wrong. You guys can tell me in the comments how wrong I really am, but I have a feeling that trucks built in the U.S. are going to be a little bit higher quality built than the trucks that are built in Mexico, for example. Alright guys, that pretty much does it for the truck news. I hope you enjoyed this segment. Of course, at the end of every news segment, there's a Frosty beverage review. Now, today's Frosty beverage is going to be a little bit different. You'll see when I start it off, but it's going to be a good day. So let's go ahead and go to the Frosty beverage review. So like I said, today's Frosty beverage review is going to be a little bit different because today I'm going to be showing you how to make the best gin and tonic in the world. So usually I would be using this thing. Now, in case you don't know, Wing King has made this for me. It is a Honda branded crinkle red tumbler. It's awesome. It's double insulated. It's huge. Take a look inside. So I only have to make one drink and I'm good to go for the rest of the night. And like I said, it's double insulated so that ice stays there forever. But to show you guys how I actually make it, I'm going to be using this old school kind of glass. So to start with, you want some very nice, juicy, big, happy limes. This is a kind of a sad lime, but it's what we got to work with. So we're gonna go ahead and cut it up here. And if you have a sharp knife, there's gonna be no trouble at all. Take a look at that. This was cut previously from this weekend's party. Take a look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Love that. Next, you fill up your cup with ice, of course, there it is. And then you take your favorite gin. I don't have my favorite gin currently, but this New Amsterdam gin will have to do. And you fill it up to about a quarter of the cup, depending on how ambitious you feel. But it's a little bit below half. Maybe I'll give it a little extra splash. And that should be enough. Now some people say some lime juice in a gin and tonic. That's kind of unusual. Well, it makes it taste so good. You're never going to want to have a gin and tonic without lime juice again. We got that. It's a small one here. We don't need that much more lime juice. And just squeeze it in there. There we go. I, of course, love using the Wegmans tonic water. It's my favorite. But I'm kind of a Wegmans fanboy. And you fill it up almost all the way to the top. There we go. You get a little stir. You stir it around in there. Alright guys, now the taste test. Oh yeah, it's good. Perfect. You taste the gin, because there's a lot of gin in there. It's a little bit of lime flavor in there to kind of counteract that strong gin flavor. And then the tonic water just kind of smooths everything out. It's nice and cold with this much ice. It's perfect. And you have that nice lime down there. It's kind of, you know, if you want more, you know, muddled lime flavor, you kind of squish it in there if you want. Or if you don't want that much more, just leave it alone. And that's it, guys. The perfect gin and tonic, in my opinion, of course. I love these things. I could drink these all day. And like I said, I usually drink it in this big thing. But for you guys, I'm drinking it in this. That's all she wrote, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.